just come up to sit by the church. Ah, it's a nice evening. I think you can get into a state where just the anger is just too much, the disgust, and the rage really, and it feels like an impotent rage that you know it's wrong, it's all wrong, and you want to stop it, you want to undo it. And people would say, well, what can you do? And, why is it your business? I don't know, it just feels like my business. It feels like our business. It is our business to not allow something like this to have happened and then just say, oh, well, that's just how it is, or to say, oh, well, it'll sort itself out in the end when they get round to it. And what's wrong with... There's something really, really deeply wrong, there's something wrong with all these systems that are, I could imagine what they might be saying behind closed doors, but it could even be worse than we think, it's just the level of cynicism about it. This kind of robotic insistence on saying, well, we've done the correct procedure. And they might go away, or they might say, when they're room, they might say, I don't think she's guilty either. I don't think Lucy Letby's guilty. But we followed the procedure to the letter and to the book, and we're okay. And they could go home and sleep like a baby, sleep like a top, and not think twice about it. It doesn't trouble them. Lord Denning would have had the Birmingham Six in for decades. Wouldn't have troubled him. Actually would have convinced himself it was the right thing. As he said, it's the right thing not to cause the criminal justice system to be seen in a bad light. Just keep them in, even though they're innocent. I think this view is much more prevalent than we think. I think it's much more prevalent than we think, and sometimes it might not be as explicit as that. But it's these kind of drones, these sort of pseudo-educated drones with their degrees or whatever they've got, or their bar exams, and they go, yeah, well, I'm in this system now, it's paying me well, I've got my career mapped out, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil everything I've worked for by saying what we're doing is absolutely insane and evil. And we've heard this evidence here, and making, if you were in that world and you'd heard how the Court of Appeal dealt with what was brought to them, you'd just make instant complaints about the people that did it, but they'd get nowhere because they can't find any purchase. It's like complaints about other matters that have happened in the last few years and are ongoing. We'll have to start using euphemisms now, but harm caused by offered interventions causing death and harm, and people have tried to bring it to the police and they don't want to know. They're told that, again, it's that there's no individual thinking's out the window, isn't it? It's the corporation. That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm coming to, is that it's the corporate mind in which the individual is subsumed in that, and also they have their own individual interests, and they're very powerful, and so they're not going to queer the pitch, and they fear the backlash. They feel they'll be ostracised, they'll be deemed as an enemy. It would have been the same, wouldn't it? I know, maybe I'll keep going back to it. The witch hunting days across Europe, and also in part of America as well. People would have stood up and said, "You're sick. You're all insane. What you're doing. None of these people are witches. These charges have all been trumped up by people for all kinds of vicious, nasty reasons, to scapegoat them, to lie about them. You're all mad, and to say that to the learned panel, the judges and the people representing the church and the people representing the law and the police of that time, whatever form they took, and just say, you're all sick, what you're doing here. You've got to stop it. You've got to stop it now. Do you think they would have found themselves the target as well, wouldn't they? And that's what we haven't moved on. You've got those two neonatologists there that don't want to involve themselves because Jane Horden and the unnamed one, because they'll be crushed. They'll be crushed by if they're both doctors, the GMC will come after them. Other people will make complaints about them. The GMC will try to ruin their lives, like they did that other doctor that Mark McDonald talked about. What a system, though. What a structure it is. How pernicious. How. So the individual conscience doesn't seem to be able to act in those circumstances unless they've retired and they feel that their pension won't be threatened. But it's abysmal, isn't it? I realise that if you can make you ill, just get more and more angry, but it's not, where's it going? But a corner has been turned, or whatever analogy you want to use, There's a wave. Something's happened in this last week. And this needs to lead on to looking at all some of those other cases. I'm just sitting on a bench here, so I haven't got my notes with me, but Colin Norris, Ben Geen, I think it's Victorino Chua, I think that's the name. Sorry if I've got that last name wrong. Some of those people have been in prison for a long, long time now, over incredibly spurious evidence. Again, I just... And then there's Jeremy Bamber. I haven't looked much into that, but a little bit. Everything I have looked into, it just causes great doubt. You can't take them all on board mentally, but it's just... The worst part of it is that the system is so restrictive, deliberately so, and I say corrupt, that it won't allow somebody to bring a proper appeal, even if they've got very convincing evidence. Unless this CCRC thing can get themselves into gear, but they're bloody useless. It's all by design that they're bad. It's all designed that way. It's the glibness with which, like this idiot, what's his name? The bloke who wrote in Spiked today. Spiked. Stupid thing. Spiked. What is it? Luke Gittos. God knows. I watched a few videos of him. What a cringeworthy character. He's everywhere. He's all over the shop, giving interviews about other stuff over the years. Like he's some kind of brain, like some kind of intellect, but he's thick as shit. He writes an opinion piece about, and it's littered with these things that it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense that she's innocent. Not looked into any of it. Making glaring errors in the first few paragraphs. It's just a tissue of rubbish. But they've got such confidence. Such confidence. This, what is it, sort of faux professionalism. That, at first blush you can go, oh God, they seem to know what they're talking about. Half an hour later you think this person's an arsehole. And they've got no moral centre, no moral compass whatsoever. And moreover, most often, they know nothing about the subject that they're talking about. Or what they know is so thin, so partial. It's It's absurd, it's ridiculous. I should be sitting here being peaceful, but I don't feel peaceful. I feel... Somebody said as a comment on my last video, stop swearing. Well, I think I should have sworn more. I know it becomes hard to hear then, but you've got to focus on arguments, you've got to focus on... But, I'm not in church when I'm doing these videos. There's a certain amount of necessary... People might say, you can get emotionally caught up in things. Yeah, you can, but often emotion can be a real driver. Because why are you feeling that? Because you feel instinctively that something has gone terribly, terribly wrong, and that drives you into action. I don't enjoy making videos about this horrific miscarriage of justice. I find it painful. I find it painful to read that. It's not a woe is me thing. I'm just saying it's painful to keep talking about this horror that's happening, and it's going on. Like I felt it's painful to keep talking about, the attempted, I can't say the words, can I, on YouTube? Well, the mass harm event or process that they've been engaged in over the last few years and ongoing. It's hard to keep talking about that. It's draining because I don't think... I want to see justice. I want to see people being brought to book, but everything aligns together within this. Somebody said on Twitter, I'm anti-establishment. Yeah, you're damn right I'm anti-establishment. Not anti-tradition, not anti-good traditions. Not anti-truth, not anti-natural law. Not anti-good, decent laws that have been on there for hundreds of years that make sense. Not anti-folklore and wisdom that have been passed down through people and skills that have been passed down. Not anti any of that. I'm anti-lying. I'm anti this lying that can allow horrors to happen and just people get away with it. What kind of country is this? But it's always been thus, isn't it? It's probably been worse. I mean, it's been better, it's been worse. It's just probably more or less the same, just with different fancy technological gadgets now, and more dangerous weapons, and more insidious weapons. It can make you ill. I know it can make you ill. It can absolutely make you ill to... I'm not, I don't care about YouTube or it's not about that. It's just some outlet for communication of something I think is important. It is important. I'm not going to downplay it. It is important if you've got somebody in prison for life for something they haven't done, and you can see and you can know and see the architecture of how that's been caused by some very, very horrible people and vile systems that just carry on. Psychopathic systems. The Court of Appeal, the other phrase I was trying to think of before was, the other one was, no, they're doing their best. What was it? Okay, so they mean well. And the other one is, that's it. People acting in good faith. Somebody said on Twitter. And it's someone who's, by and large, is concerned about this as a miscarriage of justice. But they're saying, the Court of Appeal, they're acting in good faith. What the hell does that mean? What does that mean? Faith in what? What's the faith? What is the faith in? They're absurd, myopic procedures that will just discount powerful evidence and just say, technically it was all right, so we're not going to allow this person, is bloody obviously innocent, to have another chance to prove their innocence. No, sorry, I'll take that back. Don't have to prove your innocence. to show that the prosecution's case is worthless, is shit. You don't have to prove your innocence. You never, never, never have to prove your innocence. It's just such a... And people say conspiracy. Yes, there are millions of conspiracies. Conspiracies are not the exception, they're the rule. Conspiracies are not the exception, there's the rule. When those 3 judges saw that application for leave to appeal, you bet your ass they're conspiring. They're becoming of one mind and knowing that they probably didn't even have to do. They were there already before they saw anything. They knew they were going to turn it down, whatever they would have seen. It's automatic. It's like they're machines. It's like they're machines. You might as well fed it into a bit of AI that's, programmed to be unjust, to protect the system. That's what you've got to put into the AI. AI, whatever you do, protect the system and make decisions on that basis. It would have been a replica of what the Court of Appeal did. Wouldn't have mattered what they brought. Wouldn't have mattered what they brought. And if the system can allow them to just ignore what the defence brought there to that Court of Appeal, if it can just allow it and if the system can allow them just saying, oh, well, no, sorry, bye, forget it. See if you can get the CCRC to do something in the next decade or so. But I think it's got to be quicker than that. It's got to be now. It's got to be yesterday. It's got to be now. Should be tonight. Should be tonight. Shouldn't even be a retrial. Quash the verdicts. Quash the verdicts. Quash the verdicts, and then start going after the bastards who've done this, and then start looking into all the medical negligence cases that need to be brought. You see how all these institutions work so hand in glove, real cloak and dagger stuff to ensure that something like this isn't overturned. What are they? There's that phrase, contempt of court. I've got absolute contempt. Absolute contempt. Why would you not have contempt? Why would you not have anger and rage about this? Why would you not? It's for the people who say, Court of Appeal, or you're acting in good faith. What if it was your daughter? Would you think that was the same if it was your daughter? Acting in good faith, are they? Really? Your daughter's in prison, like in a living fucking tomb for the rest of her life, losing the chance to have her own family. Years are running out. Been destroyed her life. And you go, well, yeah, they're acting in good faith. Yeah, they mean well. I'm sick of this weak pussyfooting around when evil is in the room, when evil's in the room. And you go, they mean well. Yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer meant well, didn't he? He meant well. Yeah, he was only trying to find a boyfriend that wouldn't leave him, and he could turn them into a zombie to have sex with them over and over and over again by injecting something in their brains and turn them into a zombie, cutting bits out of their skull. But he meant well. He was acting in good faith. He's acting in good faith. Things that are safe and things that are not safe and not effective. Acting in good faith. They mean well. They're doing their best. No, they're not. None of them. No, they're not. And all those are keeping silent about it when they should be shouting about it. They're not acting in good faith. They're not meaning well. They're not. They're hiding. They're hiding from the punishment that they know would come if they spoke out. Because the people that have spoken out have been punished. And, but anyway, back to the... I just think it's just got to keep building and mustn't think negatively about it. And there's got to be such a pressure built up that forget the CCRC, it's just got to be done almost I hate to say the word, but like a political thing, like but however it works, whoever does it, just do it. Whoever does it, do it. It's just, it can't be allowed to stand, can it? It won't be. I don't know. Life's a weird thing, I never used to think this way about the world, and when I was younger, it's only really in probably the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years. But I'm an absolute pitch with it now, and realise how sick a lot of it is. And I know there are people out there trying to do are doing good work within very bad institutions, and good work within very difficult circumstances. But they're the exceptions that make the rule, I'm afraid. Every doctor should be speaking out about, well, I won't go into another subject. But anyway, see if someone like Mark McDonald, KC, can see it. Why can't other people? Well, they can. They can. They can. They can. He seems a different kind of guy because he's making the obvious critiques of the system he works in, and that is his bread and butter. But you can see how it fails routinely. But it's designed like that. It's designed to fail. It's designed not to take truth seriously and not to care about it at all. That's what I despise. They're making loads of money, all the people involved in that world, and they don't care about the truth. They don't care about the truth. They're not even curious about it. Not even curious about it. A lot of them are kind of, I don't know what they are. I just don't know what they are. Wouldn't you be haunted by it? Wouldn't you be haunted by it? Anyway, that's it. Good night. Good night all. Bye-bye.